The word furlough has been in the news a lot lately due to a government shutdown in the US. As a result of the shutdown, federal employees have been furloughed, and there's a bit of confusion about what furlough means and how it relates to similar conditions like layoffs and firings. So let's take a look at it all. Furlough can be used as a noun and a verb. As a verb, to furlough means to temporarily suspend or stop a position. This usually happens due to a short-term situation, like for example, renovations of a company facility, or like in the news recently, a shutdown in regular operations. But the key here is that a furlough is intended as a temporary situation. Workers who are furloughed expect to be able to return to their jobs when the temporary situation has passed. During the furlough, depending on the arrangement, workers may or may not receive some kind of compensation and may or may not have access to services like unemployment insurance. In the case of a government shutdown, workers who are considered non-essential may be suspended from coming to work, and workers that are considered essential may have to work with payments delayed until the government can reach an agreement. An incredibly important example of this is air traffic controllers and airport security personnel in the US. These essential workers have to come to work despite the furlough so that airports can continue operations. But as these positions are already understaffed, having air traffic controllers call in sick during the furlough can have extreme effects on transportation within the country. Without air traffic controllers, planes can't move according to schedule, leading to stoppages and delays all across the country, which has huge impacts on businesses and the personal lives of everyday people. So even though essential workers like these have to come into work despite being furloughed, meaning it's not always clear when they'll be able to receive their regular compensation, they are able to call in sick. In 2019, enough air traffic controllers and airport security personnel called in sick that transportation in key airports ground to a halt. While this wasn't the sole factor in bringing the shutdown to an end, officials described it as the icing on the cake in a tough situation, and the Trump administration agreed to a temporary funding plan that ended the 35-day government shutdown. Furloughed workers like these are also gaining attention in the news due to reports that they may not receive back pay for their work during the furlough period. So not cool. Let's compare furloughs to layoffs then, because they do differ in a few key ways. First, layoffs are not generally temporary suspensions of work. They're permanent or long-term situations. Workers are generally able to access services like unemployment insurance, retirement packages provided by their employer, etc. This really depends on the worker's contract and agreement with the company. Similar to a furlough, a layoff happens not due to worker performance, but due to business performance or business restructuring. If a company is not making enough money to pay its workers, or if the company changes its structure in such a way that certain workers are no longer required, the company may choose to conduct a layoff. Like furloughs, layoffs are done in large groups. They don't generally target individuals. But again, unlike furloughs, layoffs are considered permanent, and the worker generally doesn't expect to receive their job back in the future. I want to interject something from the editing desk because there's been a very relevant and newsworthy update in the couple of days since I filmed this video. In addition to furloughing an estimated 750,000 federal workers, there are now reports of the administration beginning layoffs of federal workers during the shutdown. There are an estimated 4,000 or more workers affected by this. According to the BBC article about this topic, the federal government is legally required to give workers 30 days notice before laying them off, so this move seems pretty illegal. It is a deeply unfortunate example of how layoffs and furloughs are indeed different. There are now workers who 10 days ago got furloughed and believed they would be returning to their job soon. But now, if these illegal layoffs somehow move forward, they could be out of work for much longer. To borrow a phrase from earlier in this video, so not cool. Finally, let's compare these two to firings. Firings occur due to worker performance, and they are permanent. Unlike a layoff, a firing does not necessarily relate to company budgets or company restructuring, though in some situations they may be connected. A worker with poor performance on the job can be fired or let go, and depending on the nature of their contract, may have access to certain services like insurance after they're fired. We also often tend to use the word fired quite broadly to mean that someone lost their job, even if technically the problem wasn't related to their individual performance. So, while these three vocabulary words are linked in the sense that they relate to losing one's job, even temporarily, there are important distinctions. If you're a furloughed or laid off worker, my sympathies, and I hope things improve for you soon. If you got fired, I enthusiastically support you as you work to become better. If you like this breakdown on the differences between these words, give the video a like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. See you next time.